An increase in excess deaths happening in Ireland right now.
This is a letter addressed to Limerick Live95FM. To whom it may concern. We have come here today as deeply concerned men and women of ERA to make a public plea to the owners, management and staff of Limerick 95FM and to report the following fact. Since the rollout of the COVID-19 injection in 2021, there has been a horrific increase in excess deaths in every village, in every town and in every county of ERA. Such alarmingly high numbers of extra deaths and injuries are occurring in all counties where a significant percentage of the population has been injected with the COVID-19 experimental pharmaceutical product. Excess death statistics are a measurement of the difference between the actual all-cause mortality and the expected mortality under normal conditions. This is the gold standard for evaluating the health of a nation. A number of different calculation methods can be used, and the statistics that we present to you here today were determined using the 5-year rolling average method. And there's a big chart, which I'm not going to. Here are some aspects of the chart. The numbers in the chart above total to more than 18,000. 18,800 post-COVID-19 infections. We are pointing out to you that there is a large amount of validated information freely available in the public domain, which includes manufacturing safety data from the producers of the COVID-19 injections, highlighting that they actually knew these injections were never safe. All regulatory bodies now admit that the COVID-19 injections have already caused millions of deaths, as well as maiming hundreds of millions of people worldwide. There are also data-backed studies proving the correlation between the COVID-19 injections and the rise in post-injection excess death currently happening in heavily injected countries. People rely on mainstream media for news and valuable information, and media companies depend on the implicit trust that the public places in them. Local radio stations enjoy an elevated level of public trust because of their close and interdependent relationship with the people and organisations of their area. In ERA, local radio stations also function so as to preserve local character and independence in an increasingly globalist society. There is an unstated belief that the station will act faithfully in the best interests of the local people. And I'd just like to say, as a Limerick person, I remember growing up listening to John the Man, and I remember every day in my house, people listening to the deaths. Everything stopped to listen to the deaths. Yeah. There were different deaths, yeah. We all remember John the Man, remember? We don't. We grew up with that and we don't believe that we were imprinted with that sense of trust in local radio. And now we're very different times. Okay, I better calm down a bit. The COVID-19 injection rollout caused obvious and significant carnage in Limerick and all over the island of ERA. All media, Limerick Live95FM included, are completely betraying public trust by continuing to refuse to report on the COVID-19 injection injuries and deaths. This willful neglect of journalistic duty continues to contribute to the massive public lie that these injections were so-called safe and effective. Large numbers of trusting and unsuspecting individuals are continuing to take these injections and boosters. Some of these people will die or suffer life-altering health complications. Tens of thousands of people are now coming to accept that the media are lying at a time when they could be saving lives by faithfully reporting on the now known risks attached to the COVID-19 injection. This is so huge and so evil that so many people just cannot get their heads around how so many media professions, individuals, ordinary human beings could collude to censor such key facts and information in this era. Irish media has exposed itself as very stupid and very, very ugly. There's a glaringly hollow tone to those so-called controversial radio shows where people phone in and passionately discuss difficult subjects with presenters that posture as earnest and concerned individuals. You know those ones, yeah? It is now blatantly obvious that these same presenters have no intention of lending a sympathetic ear to the tens of thousands of people who have been bereaved or injured by the COVID-19 injection in ERA since 2021. We see you. There are no excuses or hiding places now. Even if media companies or individuals should come forth tomorrow and apologise for having censored the vital information of our times, it would be obvious that they are only doing so because they now recognise that the tide of public opinion is turning in ERA, and not because they feel morally obligated to confess their role in this most heinous crime. The whole thing is a sham, a cowardly, evil-endorsing game played by people who are abusing the trust of their public. Shame on you all. Notwithstanding this fact, volunteers at WakeUpéiRe are inviting you, Live95FM, to start reporting the truth, to interview some of our injured or bereaved volunteers. These people are eager to tell their stories and share information about the challenges that they are now facing in trying to convince the medical and the media industries to recognise the pain and suffering of their lived experiences. Please acknowledge that because the Irish media refuse to do their job correctly, a vast number of concerned and discerning individuals are rising up from the ground to begin a grassroots media service that strives to faithfully present facts. Unlike the salaried media employees, these citizen journalists are mostly unpaid, often vilified and slurred by legacy mainstream and local media. Legacy and local media companies are displaying unqualified arrogance and disdain for both COVID-19 injection facts and anyone who is courageous enough to speak these truths. Your behaviour was and still is deplorable and renders you complicit in these enormous crimes. But the truth has an eloquence all of its own, and this uniquely human eloquence is starting to assert its rightful place in our public commentary spaces. Stand back. As legacy institutions come under scrutiny for their complicity in the photogenocide of the Irish people, there will be a shift in the collective consciousness towards the ideals of a society that prioritise human dignity and integrity. In the future, we will look back in embarrassment at contemporary gaudy media styles, at the incessant and hollow hype and frenzied denial of important and unavoidable facts that have shaped our realities these last few years. This is a sad time in the history of ERA, and the Irish media played a huge role in bringing about this awful state of affairs. To each and every single one working in mainstream media companies, including Limerick Live95FM, you have played your part in the big lie, and almost 20,000 excess deaths are the consequences. Please, sit with this reality and carefully consider your future actions. The people of ERA are paying attention. We leave you now with one chilling fact. This is hard to digest. Mainstream Irish media are still promoting and encouraging the public to take more COVID-19 boosters. This is evil. We see you. We will not forget. Ever.
Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre. So they've locked the door and pulled the blinds. Just won't come out and take a letter off us. We just want to give them a letter. We're not roaring and shouting and screaming at them. They'd only have the decency to come out and take a letter off us. We've sent it by registered post anyway, and we're going to email it to them as well. So we'll stick it in through their letterbox. Okay, Mary, can I get that in there? There we go. Okay. All right, well done, guys. I know it's been a long day. Just 5 more minutes, 10 more minute read, and then we're done.